Gang, I am so excited about how this project is turning out. I'm going to take you right to the best part, applying clear finish to the timber. Okay, I'll take you back to the start, back to the happier times. Hey, you know what? There are so many laser videos on YouTube, it's ridiculous, and the vast majority of them are all making the exact same thing. So I thought I might do a laser project which is a little bit different. We're going to have some contrasting wood, we've got some jarrah, we've got some black butt, and we're going to get to work. Let's go. So today I'm making a project, a dice box, for a friend of mine who's recently gotten into Dungeons and Dragons. This is about how high the box is going to be. Jarrah, black butt, jarrah, and then it's going to come apart in the center. Black butt and jarrah. So number one, they look fantastic together. Number two, the black butt is about, I think it's 15 mil thick. The jarrah is about 12 mil thick. Doesn't really matter how thick this one is. It's just going to add extra weight to the lid and to the base. The thickness of the black butt is going to actually be what the slots and the grooves are that the dice sit in. So it needs to be thick enough that the dice can sit in and not get crushed by the lid of the box, I guess. If you're wondering where the laser comes in, I did some playing around last week and I'm able to cut right through, well, I've planed this one down, but I'm able to cut through about 18 mil pine with no dramas at all. But I can also cut through about 15 mil of this black butt, which surprised me, but that's freaking amazing. So if you haven't watched that first video, it's a 20 watt laser that Algolaser sent out to me to test out, their alpha. It's so much better than any other laser that I've had. This is the third laser that I've had. It's the only one that I'm actually going to see myself using in the workshop on a routine basis. Very excited for it. So yes, 20 watts, it went right through the black butt, which is fantastic. I did try it on jarrah as well because I wanted to use the laser to cut the jarrah. Unfortunately, you can see right about here, it only gets about 5 or 6 mil into the jarrah. Jarrah, if you're not aware, jarrah is super dense. It's a lot stronger. It's a little bit oilier, maybe a little bit oilier, so it gets a bit hotter and just sort of wastes the heat. And black butt is just a much drier. Is drier a way of describing wood? It's a lighter hardwood. Jarrah is a much more dense hardwood, so the laser did struggle to get through. It's going to be fantastic to engrave on. However, cutting through it is probably only for veneers or very, very thin pieces of wood. So long story short, I'm going to take these over to the CNC and cut them out. Cool. I've got 4 identical panels and the 2 black butt pieces have got little holes where I'm going to put magnets in. I'm currently planning out a new laser enclosure for the alpha, but for now, I'm still dragging this one around back and forth. I've got Lightburn set up and good to go here. I've got the laser switched on, plugged in and ready to go over here. And I've got a test piece of my black butt in the laser ready to cut it out. And I've got doors banging and branches falling down. It's gonna be an interesting day. Let's hope the project works. I probably should mention that the reason I'm making this on the laser and with the CNC for a friend and giving it away is because it's for a challenge. This is my entry into Phil Shinbine, Gradually Wizardly. This is my entry into Phil's challenge that he threw out. So the short version is that Phil put out a challenge on Instagram and YouTube saying if you can make something that you couldn't have made 5 years ago and then give it away to somebody else. So that's what I'm doing. So 5 years ago, I did not have a laser engraver, I did not have a CNC. So before putting the actual workpiece inside the laser, I took the offcuts from around it and I've started making a few test cuts with the laser, just to make sure that I had the settings dialed in properly. And for the most part I do, however I've run into something which is a little bit annoying, not the laser's fault. So the black butt that I've got is, well, I don't know what it's from, maybe it's offcuts from floorboards or something like that. So whenever I want to make something a little bit wider than 100 mil, I need to glue them up together, which is what I've done here. No dramas there, except this piece of wood is about 1.5 times as dense as this piece of wood. I'll be honest, I didn't think of checking for that at all. I just assumed it's all the same type of wood, it's just going to cut it, but of course it's not. So what's happening is when I'm cutting through this piece of wood quite easily, but then this one is only cutting 95% of the way. So if I crank up the speed, this one cuts all the way through, but then this one gets all burnt and charred, which is not what I want either. A little bit frustrating and annoying. Again, it's not the laser's fault, it's the fault of the wood that I chose. Maybe next time I'll have to weigh the pieces beforehand and see if that makes a difference. I think I have the settings that I need. It might mean that at the very end I might have to sand back the more dense side, because I'd rather sand it back a little bit instead of burn another piece. I tell you what, I really like the charred look on the side of this black butt. It looks amazing. It's that, what's that Japanese? Shogui shui bui ishi? Shui go shogui shogoyu? Shogoyu? Shigoyui. I don't know. But I like the look of it. I honestly love how easy it is to focus this laser. All you have to do is move the laser over your material, unlock the height adjustment on it, then you can depress this little feeler gauge, make sure that touches your material, then you can lock the laser module, and then press this little button which goes and hides that feeler away. Works an absolute treat, really good system. I've got 3 identical parts to laser. The 2 black butt pieces in particular have to line up really perfectly so that when they go together and are closed up, there's room for the dice inside them. So to help me out, I dropped in a sheet of 3mm MDF and then I cut out the shape of one of the boxes. So now, as long as I'm being really careful and I don't move the laser, the honeycomb board, or that MDF sheet, everything should stay aligned. Now I could have just carefully laid it out and hit the frame button in Lightburn to make sure that I was cutting approximately where I wanted it to go, but I wanted to try and be a little bit more accurate than that. All that's left is to slip in the first panel to be cut and click the start button. So here's the moment of truth. So you can see here that I've got 2 pieces glued together. This is the one that's a little bit more dense, this is the one that's a little bit lighter, and when we go through it, that's pretty much it. This has cut through. I'll be able to pop that out with no dramas, but on this side I might have to either cut with a knife or I might run the whole thing, or maybe I'll just sand the whole thing and see if I can take a fraction of a millimeter off. There we go. That's what I wanted. Happy days. 1 down, 1 to go. All right, as far as I can tell, it's all framed and set up in the right spot, so nothing to it but to do it. Let's go. While it was burning and working away by itself, I spent some time over on the lathe because it's been a minute. So a cool thing about the laser is you can kick it off doing a job and then you can walk away and go and do something else. So in my case, I went and finished off this little bowl. This bowl's nothing special. It's just a little catch-all tray made out of an offcut. The reason I've got it is because I went to TimberCon today to check out their new lathes, and we shot a little bit of video, and the whole point of the video was just to make some dust and get some slow motion footage, but I had to make something while I was doing it. So I made a crappy little bowl, little Woodfather one. Anyway, let's see how the laser's going. So I still need to be careful not to bump anything because I need to engrave on the lid. Let's take this out and see what happens. Dun 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 dun. Oh, it's not so bad. Probably needed to be a little bit deeper though. So this part's a little bit annoying. I'm gonna have to spend some more time testing, making more test cuts, which is strange because I test in thicker material than this and it worked out fine. So this one's okay. So I don't know what the actual issue is here. Is the wood a little bit denser? Is it because it's burning for so long? Is it melting the sap in the wood and that's gluing the joint back together? Because it feels like that's what's happening in parts of it. Not the end of the world. It's just taken an extra 5 minutes with a sharp knife at the end. I've just had to go through, cut out the lines again, and then I should be able to push them out. Although this one is being a little bit... Oh, there we go. Yeah, you can see it's cut through halfway, but only on that side. The other side was fine. This just popped out, and then this one was a bit of trouble. However, I've got this now. So hey, all my inserts are taken out. I really like it. The only thing that went a little bit wrong is because I had to trim it with the knife to get those, to get some of those bonds broken. I don't have the charred look all the way down, and I want the charred look. That's the whole point of doing it on the laser, to be honest. So I've got a Sharpie, and I'm just gonna color it in. this is exciting. It's time for the final engraving. Very carefully put this in. The Jarrah is a slight different thickness to the black butt, so I do have to refocus the laser. Again, very, very carefully. And rather than deal with the parts sliding around when I put clamps on, I decided to just drop some weights on top of this and let them dry.
She ceased following herself, so I wanted to, she says.
How stupid can you be? I picked up the white paint can instead of the clear polish can. Crap. Right, so after real panicky sanding, washing with mineral terps and then spraying with the air blower and then sanding again and then more sanding and then more sanding, I think I've recovered. What a friggin' idiot I am. Oh my God. Fortunately, I think it's gonna be fine. There is a little bit of white left deep in the grain, but I can't get that out unless I really sand deeply. And if I sand too deeply, I'm gonna wash out the engraving. I don't wanna do that. And really it's only noticeable because I know that it's there. Jeez, I'm an idiot. On the plus side, I have put magnets in now and it stays together beautifully. So all we need is a spray and we're done. I'm gonna double, triple, quadruple check the can before I actually press the button this time. If I tried to make this dice box 5 years ago, I probably would have done it on the scroll saw, I think. It wouldn't have been as nice, but I still would have been able to do it. The engraving on the top is something that I wouldn't be able to come close to. I think at best I probably would have used the table saw, maybe cut a few grooves through it, and then I'd put some inlay through the top just to make some sort of geometric pattern or something like that. Definitely wouldn't have been able to do any sort of engraving or carving or inlay or anything. Now, there wouldn't have been anything wrong with doing it that way. It's just that I've got new tools and new skills and I want to keep getting better. So I'm going to keep trying to. I'm actually starting to think that that might be a really fun challenge to go and build 2 of the same project. One of them where I use all the tools in the workshop and one of them where I use a limited set or more of a beginner set if you were just starting out in woodworking. I think that might be a little bit of fun. Yell out if that's something you're interested in. I will say that I'm very proud of the workshop that I've got now and all the tools that I've got within it. It has been about an 18-year journey since I bought a jigsaw and a circular saw many years ago, just after we bought the house. I've certainly got a few more tools now. It is important to note though that just because you have tools doesn't mean you know how to use them. I've got a lot of learning to do on the laser. I'm really excited to do it, but I've got a lot of learning to go. Another thing that I really need to focus and learn more about is how to read, because apparently I think that clear acrylic spray is exactly the same as primer. All right, so there's lots of learning to come with the CNC and the laser and the hand tools and everything else that I've got in the workshop. So make sure you hit the subscribe button to follow me on the journey. I'm trying to get to 100 million subscribers, don't forget. So everyone counts. Come on, hit that button, help me out. This is probably my last video this year, so Merry Christmas all, have a great New Year, and I'll see you in January sometime. Or maybe sooner. Cheers, gang.